Guys, Sheggz attempted to apologize to Phyna today over his behavior towards her yesterday. This came after a conversation he had with Groovy earlier this morning. And Amaka's relationship with Giddyfia seems to be sinking already. Then Deji and Modella might be evicted out of the Big Brother house on Sunday. Guys, you want to watch to the very end of this video to get all the juicy details. That said, hi guys, you're highly welcome to my channel. It is so good to have you here. To my returning subscribers, thank you for your love and your support. And if this is your first time of watching this channel, please do not make it your last. Kindly click on the button that says subscribe. Please support me by subscribing to this channel. Let's dive right into the video. So this morning, Sheggz attempted to apologize to Phyna for his meant behavior yesterday. This came after the conversation Groovy and him had very early this morning. I think say by 3 a.m. Phyna dusted her board and marker. We all know that as the tail of the house, she is not meant to talk at a certain period of time. She's supposed to communicate by writing whatever she wants to say on her board. So she brought her the board, to communicate with Sheggz. And Sheggz was like, oh, you're not talking at the moment. Okay, I'll come back later to, make proper apology and all that. Moving on, Groovy initiated a conversation with Sheggz in the early hours of the morning, say about 3 a.m. He said he couldn't remember if Sheggz was the one that spoke last before Phyna spoke, but he just feels that the way Sheggz went about the whole thing was really unnecessary and really rude. That even though he doesn't lean towards provocation and stuff, that he would have changed it for Sheggz if not that Sheggz is his guy. That he wasn't surprised that it happened, he was just surprised that it came from Sheggz, that it was so offensive, that Sheggz actually took it far. The summary of the conversation between Groovy and Sheggz was that Groovy, being the boyfriend of Sheggz, that he understands that level 1 housemate do not understand Phyna because they have not gotten to know her. He said that even in level 2, they had 1 or 2 issues with it in the past, and they have come to understand that it is not that deep. So he understands that Sheggz doesn't understand Phyna's ways, but it was disappointing that he chose to go on the offensive and be outrightly rude to Phyna. It wasn't necessary, and if Sheggz wasn't his guy, he would have changed it for him sharp. Sheggz in his usual way went on to say so many stuff, but the core of what he was saying is that he still feels like he should have checked Phyna's statement, but in a more mature way. That he felt like there are certain things he should not have said, and for that he was disappointed in himself. He was just stressed, and he isn't perfect. He also said that Phyna is a good person and she has been good to himself and Bella ever since they got to the level 2 house. She is involved with Groovy, and anyone who is involved with Groovy is family to him, that is Sheggz. So Groovy didn't push the matter any further. He let Sheggz do the rest of the talking after saying his piece earlier. Moving on, guys, Amaka's relationship with Giddyfia seems to be sinking before it even set sail. As we all know, for weeks in level 2, Amaka no let us drink water drop cup. She's always going about Giddyfia this, Giddyfia that. Now the houses have been merged, and Amaka now sees that what was glittering before was not even plastic, but sadly there is no return policy. Yesterday, housemate had some bottles of beer, and Giddyfia in his usual way began to laugh and shout like a madman. It seemed as though that was the last straw, as Amaka became very irritated by his behavior. It was obvious on Amaka's face and disposition that she thought she had backed up the wrong tree. She also took offense at some flirtatious yet playful comment Giddyfia made to Modella. Amaka told Giddyfia that his behavior is turning her off. She said he doesn't even make the effort to be romantic with her, and that at this point she was prepared to move on to Dotun, since Giddyfia was not prepared to level up with her. She also told Giddyfia that Dotun speaks as if he wants to get to know her and gives her attention, but Giddyfia seems to have thrown in the towel in his pursuit of her. Giddyfia later met with his guys this morning and they discussed about it. He said Amaka is trying to control him, she follows him everywhere, and he is not interested in all that. He said he told her he was going to the garden. Before he got to the garden, Amaka was already there to close mark him. He also said he wasn't drunk yesterday and the behavior he exhibited was his real self. If Amaka wants to move on to Dotto, she should feel free to do so. She would easily be the second woman he doesn't speak with in the house. Remember, the first is Diana. Bbnaija told him to make sure that he is the one in charge of his relationship with Amaka, or there is no point. He said he has succeeded in clearing Chichi and their relationship is not what he came to the BBN house for. And if she cannot accept him as he is, she should step aside. Well, Dr. Shah said Amaka just wants to use him to trigger giddyfia, and that even if she offers herself to him, he will never go there. At this point, why am I starting to dislike Deji? Like, Deji is always at the center of so many gossip going on in the house. Like, he's making me not to like him anymore. But my liking him will not give him any money, so who cares? But anyways, the guy is beginning to piss me off. On to our last story for this video. Guys, this is a prediction. I think Modella and Deji might be evicted on Sunday. Deji mentioned it today in his diary session. He didn't mention when, but I think it is this Sunday because he said he knew his stay in Biggie's house would be short and he agreed to the contract. Something like that in his line though. Modella asked yesterday that she would like to become a real housemate. Let us not forget that Modella is one of the fake housemates, so she can stay longer in the house as she is not ready to leave the Big Brother house anytime soon. Deji also asked for an extra week to stay in the house so he can give Chichi a soft landing by talking to her about them not doing the relationship thing but focus on the game and money, with an assurance that they will date outside the house because if he feels his eviction will break her when he leaves.